Hi everyone, I'm Dawnyelle with JRT Painting and Remodeling, and I am here today to interview Kristin O'Brien of Keller Williams Advantage Realty in the State College area.
Hello.
Kristin, tell me a little bit about yourself.
I am a local realtor and I've been doing real estate for probably about 20 years. I started in new construction and worked exclusively for a local home builder. And then I transitioned over to be a realtor and run my own business.
Awesome. My first question today, Kristin, is the fact that you're working in the new construction market. What trends are you seeing in the new construction market?
Well, right now, I'm actually seeing a move back to warm tones. So I feel like white kitchens, white walls, very like modern farmhouse was what everybody was doing the last 4 or 5 years. Not that they're not still doing white kitchens, it is still popular, but I'm seeing a lot of people moving back to warm tones. So I'm not seeing grays anymore. I'm seeing less white kitchens, and people are trying to start integrating more of the naturals. So a lot of people are picking natural hardwood flooring, where, 5 or 6 years ago, I was doing like really dark floors. Now everybody's doing lighter floors, more natural looking oak floors. A lot of people are getting back into the wood, so I'm doing more kitchens that are like warm tones. There's still like the lighter warm tones, where dark wood was really popular, like dark, almost black stain was really popular before white kitchens. Now people are getting back into the mid-tones, and painted cabinets are still super popular. But I'm seeing a lot of people do colors. So I've done blue kitchens and green kitchens, and I've been doing some beige kitchens. And so I feel like, at least in the new construction side, I'm seeing a lot more of that. I'm not sure what you're seeing on your side. And we're doing a little bit of warmth on the walls. So I'm not doing white. People are picking some off-whites and some things like that.
Along the lines of paints and colors, as being the estimator for JRT Painting and Remodeling, that is something that we're doing a lot. And white is one of those colors that people are switching to. And it's more of, like Kristin said, it's an off-white, an alabaster, something along those lines. And if you went into Sherwin-Williams and looked at all their whites, there's probably hundreds of whites out there. So
it's like your top 20 whites, and they all look very different when they're against each other, but in general, they look white.
Yeah. And I always like a pop of color. So you've got that white, but then put a little pop of color here and there to spruce things up. But it's based on your color, not anybody else's.
Yeah. And I feel like new construction is always a little ahead of remodeling. I feel like the remodeling trends are usually we're not always doing the same thing. So I feel like I see people trying things in new construction that end up becoming a trend in the remodel side too. So we'll see, maybe you'll start getting,
we'll follow that.
You'll start getting warm tone. I don't know, we'll see.
We just did a bathroom, and we were doing browns, and we were doing more of the natural stone look. And it was kind of interesting because when I was looking for tiles, I couldn't find brown tiles. So Kristin, when it comes to remodeling, what would you say the biggest improvements that you should do for the best return on investment?
The best return on investment, this is always an interesting question, because sellers always want to know, like, what can I put into the house that's going to get me the most money? And I always tell them to start outside. Like, curb appeal is usually you're going to get that money back tenfold. So if you weed everything, put in all new mulch and landscaping, and you cut everything back, that's a pretty inexpensive thing. And you'll definitely see a return on value for that. For the amount of money you're putting into it, it definitely makes the house photograph well, and you'll see that return. Front doors, I tell people if you can put a new front door on, that's not that expensive, maybe $1,000, under $1,000, and that definitely will make the house have a brand new feel, even if it's not like that inside. And then I still think kitchens and baths are probably going to get you the most value. Depending, don't go crazy, because you can spend $100,000 on a kitchen if you really want to. But if you go in with a pretty builder basic kind of replacement, you'll always get your money if those two areas of the house are up to date.
Absolutely. And we at JRT, we've done just bathroom refreshes, where all we're doing is changing out some cabinetry and some hardware, and then doing a quick paint. You don't always have to do everything when it comes to doing a kitchen or a bathroom remodel. But then we also go out, and the other thing with bathroom remodels that we have been noticing lately, and this is back to the trends, but is people are getting rid of that bathtub and having walk-in showers.
Yes.
So sometimes there's items that you need to do with your home that are considered as a must in order to get your home sold, but don't always give you the return on investment. What are some of those items that you would recommend?
So if you're trying to sell your house and say you don't want to do any improvements per se, you have to clean, like deep clean, and all the homeowner maintenance stuff, take care of that. So, you know, if you haven't cleaned your gutters for a while, go clean your gutters. If you haven't washed your windows, I'm so always surprised how many people have not washed their windows in like 10 years. They're like, oh, is that a thing? I'm like, yes, that's a thing. Clean your windows, you know, wipe down all of your baseboards, put in light bulbs. I don't know how many times I go and show a house and half the light bulbs in the house are out and it's so dark. So I always tell people, you know, think of all the little things that a home inspector would look at, and if you don't know, we can get a home inspection before listing and then knock out all these little maintenance things. Because if buyers walk in a house, even if it's like completely out of date, but it is super clean, all the light bulbs, everything's wiped down, like everything in the house just seems like they've taken meticulous care of that house, even if that's not true. Oh my gosh, that's like,
it makes a huge difference.
It's huge. It'll sell really quickly, and that is mostly elbow grease and your time. You know, it's not necessarily a lot of money.
It's all about first impressions. And if the buyer gets a bad first impression, they're going to walk right out of that house.
Yeah, they don't want to think somebody lived there, which is like impossible because people do live there most of the time. But you really, if you can make it look like you are super neat freak, even if that's not your norm, I mean, it goes a long way.
Yeah. Even so, if you're not a neat freak, hiring somebody to clean, you know, it's most people don't realize it's really not horribly expensive to have somebody come in and clean your home. So having that priced out and doing that, if you're not a clean freak, at least maybe do that.
Which I am not.
Which
that's my husband. I work too much. Sorry, Mike.
I'm putting that in there.
You can totally put that in there.
In the 20 past years, you've been showing home in new construction and showing homes in resales. So what would you say the strangest thing that you have ran into would be?
People always ask me this. Maybe I'm not that observant because there's nothing that I'm like, oh my God, I gotta take a picture of this, other than like a bidet or something that people don't know how to use and they just get really confused. In my brain, I think the things I notice most are the do-it-yourself stuff, where I'm just like, what were you thinking? It's like, you know, someone put in their own flooring and they took all their baseboard trim off, they put new flooring down, and then they only put half the trim up. And so you walk into a room and it has like missing trim, like, you know, 2 of those 4 walls have trim on it, or they put in their own flooring and they butt tile up against hardwood and there's like a huge gap. They don't like just buy a transition strip and put it down. Or people will remodel and they'll reorganize the layout and like you have to go through a room to go to another room and you could tell that they did it on purpose. So I don't know what the remodel was about. So I think all that do-yourself stuff just makes me go, what? Like, I understand you don't want to hire a professional and you want to do stuff on your own, but at least, like, I mean, there's a YouTube videos that pretty much tell you how to do all this stuff. So there's always stuff like that where I'm just like, what were they thinking? Or did they just quit? Or like, the other day someone like painted their baseboard and they had a piece of furniture sitting in front of the baseboard and they just didn't paint that piece of baseboard. I was like, all you had to do was like pull the dresser forward, paint, push it back, but no, they just thought maybe, well, my furniture is never going to leave here, so I'm just going to paint around my furniture. So those things just always catch my eye where I'm just like, I laugh and
take the time to care, to do those things. If you don't know what you're doing, don't do it.
Yeah.
I think that's probably one of the best pieces of advice I could give.
Yes, or ask to help something.
Yes. And like Kristin said, there are so many YouTube videos out there. All you got to do is Google it.
Yeah.
Or you can call JRT Painting and Remodeling, and we can come do that for you.
Yeah, some of the stuff they shouldn't do. Crooked tile, forward, like, yeah.
And you know, one of the things, especially if you're in these older homes that have the not so level floors, you need to do a self-leveling. There's some things that you need to do in that home before you're starting to put down tile or anything else. So, you know, you want to take those kind of things into consideration, and sometimes reaching out to a professional is the way to do it.
Yeah. There's things you can do and there's things you can't. But, you know, if you're going to put your own backsplash up, at least finish the grout.
Yes.
I see so many houses with backsplash tile, no grout.
Have you?
I'm talking to you, Father. I'm throwing all my family under the bus.
That's awesome. Putting that one in there too. Everybody wants to know how realtors determine their home value. How do you determine your home value, Kristin?
The right way? No, just kidding. No, that's a good question. So I try to look at it more analytical, and I try to look at it like an appraiser will, so that we can kind of prepare for any type of offer that we get. So if you're looking at the value of the home, what you really should be looking at is apples to apples, as close as you can get. So if you're looking at a 2-story home with 3 bedrooms and 2.5 bathrooms, you should go find recent sales from the last 12 months of 2-story homes with 3 bedrooms and 2.5 bathrooms. And then you want to find something as close to age, because age makes a huge difference. You know, a house built in 2002 is very different than a house built in 1980. So you need to find similar size, bedrooms, bathrooms, age, style, and then obviously you can only go back 12 months. And then you want to stay within geographically as close as you can. Like start with the neighborhood. If there's not enough in the neighborhood, then maybe spread out a couple miles, stay within the township. And then if you have to go to school district or a bigger geographic area, you can. But neighborhood makes the difference. So I mean, sometimes there's 2 neighborhoods, you know, in the same school district, but one sells for more money. So those are the types of homes I try to find. And then I will look to see what buyers are paying for those homes. And then I will assess condition. So, I mean, I might find 3 or 4 homes that are very similar to the house I'm listing. And then I'll see that, okay, 2 of them didn't have central air, but the other 2 did have central air. These ones had really nice updates and kitchens. And you come up with like a price range, and then you figure out where on that range is the house you're trying to list fall. So then that way you really have a good idea of what buyers are going to be seeing when they're walking around in the market looking at other homes, and you're going to know pretty well what they're going to offer you. So that's how I approach it, maybe a little nerdier than some realtors, but that's my method.
It is all about where your location is, and you always want to check with your local realtors. Don't always assume, and it's very good to get in touch with your local realtor, your closest realtor. I would say here, you should work with Kristin O'Brien and her team. And Kristin, how should they get in touch with you?
Anyway, I mean, I communicate the way my clients do, so you can send me a Facebook message, you can text message me, email me. Everything's at KristinO'Brien.com, all of our contact information, all of our social media. So any which way that works for you, you can find us just by going to the website and picking your option of contact.
Great. And Kristin's information will also be down below, so don't forget to click on the links there as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, thank you so much, Kristin.
Yeah, anytime you want to talk, this was great. And like I said, sadly, a lot of my questions, you should hire Dawnyelle, because they'll help out a lot.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Dawnyelle with JRT Painting and Remodeling. Until next time, have a great day.